It's showtime.
Happy Mother's Day to all of my folks in Portugal. Today is Mother's Day in Portugal.
Oh my God, it is Mom's Day in Portugal. Hello, all you beautiful mothers out there in Portugal and
You,
United States. It will say, Happy Mother's Day.
you see this? You see? Did I get a flower? A piece of chocolate?
It slipped my mind. I'm sorry.
I forgot to be
How about a
perfect.
kiss on the forehead?
I'll take that. Thank you,
Happy
sweetheart.
Mother's Day.
So we get so many coaching calls asking, um, especially from single women, right? Can I do this? Can I move abroad? Are other single people moving abroad?
And the answer to that question is yes and
Right?
yes.
Can I do it? I don't know. Can the other question that we get, and both questions we get more often from single people. I've never heard this question from partnered up peoples. Am I too old? Right? Am I too old and I'm single?
I say you're never too old.
And I don't think you're ever too old necessarily if you are taking care of yourself. If you got major health issues, this is probably not a move you'd want to make.
But you can still take a vacation and kind
Oh
of check it
yes,
out and have some time.
travel definitely, but to navigate a new healthcare system when you that could be difficult. So that's an added thing. But for the majority of people that we talk to, like 99.9%, the answer is going to be yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And it seems to be more and more single women making that move, making that transition in their lives more compared more, to men.
What's up with that?
I don't know,
What's up with that?
fellas.
Inquiring minds want to know. We have got someone very special that we have known for quite a while now, and she's an OG.
She's an OG. She's family OG.
That's right. That's right. And we're going to talk to her about everything from the move all the way to building community, safety and everything in between, right?
I mean, Marguerite is so special. I love her energy. I love when we have get-togethers and everybody's together. I love her smile and just the energy that she brings to it.
She brings light and joy to the room.
She truly does.
Yep, absolutely. So, if you are new, hi y'all. My name's Halisi.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money, travel, and retiring abroad. We help folks who look like us getting close to retirement age and forgot to plan get their money straight so that they can retire on time or maybe even early.
Early is nice.
So who specifically are we talking to today?
We're talking to us, people that look like us.
Who's our guest?
Oh, you're saying who? The person we're talking to. Well, you throw these curveballs. I don't know what you're talking about half the time.
I said Negro.
So Marguerite.
We are talking to our good friend Marguerite. Some of you know her from the chat. She has been around since we had like 300, 400 subscribers, y'all. And she lives here in Lisbon, Portugal. But first, if you are new to our channel, then you might not know, about 8 years ago, Rick and I got a wake-up call. We were getting close to retirement age. We looked at our money and it looked crazy.
Real crazy. It was totally insane.
He tries to come up with something new every week.
Well, I had to.
Action VJ, you got him started on that.
Action VJ got me started.
But about 4 years ago, we got our financial act together and we went from negative 22,000 to over 1.1 million in net worth, y'all. If we can do it,
you can do it.
You can do it too.
Yeah.
If we can make a move abroad and move to our happy place, you can too. All right. If you need help with that, all of the information to get in contact with us or get our Move Abroad Toolkit is in the description below. Without further ado, hey, Marguerite.
Hey, superstar.
Hey.
We are so happy that you have joined us. We've been trying to get Marguerite for a minute now. She's like, look, let me get settled. Would y'all let me get settled for y'all come trying to get on the channel? So it is a lot. It's a big thing, right?
Yes, it is.
So why don't you introduce yourself? Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Marguerite, and I am from the U.S., specifically Texas. But I moved to Tennessee, and I retired from the state of Tennessee in actually August 1st of last year. And I moved
Wow.
here
Okay.
September of last year. I was ready. I was ready.
Got to
I
go
planned, I studied, I researched. Yep.
and made the move.
So it made the
And
move. I had you and Rick as inspiration, and I want to first say thank you for inviting me and being patient. I admit when I first got here and you asked me, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know anything to say. I'm trying to find the street I live on, what bus to take. But I know the city now.
right,
Yeah.
right. Well, I
I know the
think,
city.
people, some of the things, some of the trials and tribulations that you go through on this move, we start to forget, right? The actual process of moving abroad. And I remember
Yes.
a friend of ours, Alex. They've been on. He and his wife have been on the show, and I remember him telling us, "Look, there's going to be a lot of hiccups. Just go with it.
Yeah.
Yes. Just
Just
go
go
with
with
it.
it, because a
Just
year
go
from
with it.
now, you're going to be living here, and you won't even remember half of them, and we don't,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just
It's
go with
true.
it.
Very true.
right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Pack your
So
patience.
that part right
Yeah.
there,
Pack your
that part right
patience.
there.
Pack your patience. Right.
So we're going to ask you the first question, and then we will say hello to the folks who are in the chat. When did you decide that leaving the United States might be a part of your future plans?
2019.
So before the pandemic,
Okay.
2019. Yeah,
what was
before
the
the pandemic.
impetus?
That accelerated. Well, I always like danced around the ideal in my mind. My parents had traveled, my mother and biological father traveled in the early 70s, but I always thought of it in terms of vacation, extended vacation. So I wanted to do that. But in 2007, my siblings and we went to Toronto, Canada. And I'm like, oh, I could live here, except for the cold weather. I could
Mm.
live here. I was actually looking at real estate
Hmm.
because it was out of the United States, but it was still close to the United States, well, just across from New York. And it really started buzzing in my mind instead of vacation or extended stay, what about moving? So I started my research and I looked at Panama first.
Oh,
I looked at Panama,
Okay.
did extensive research, extensive. I mean, I had it all down, every nuance, the pensionata, everything. And we'll have to kind of go back a little bit. I went through a phase where I wanted to get my finances in order.
okay.
And so I followed, I don't want to say his name.
That white boy with
Let's
the
just say the
bald
seven,
head.
yeah, the seven baby steps, because I just cannot say his name. But his seven baby steps, in my opinion, do work. So for me, it worked. And in the process that, how you get the thread on YouTube, and it led me to Ahmad and Christina. And I'm going
Okay.
like, who are these black people? Who are these black people who have it together? And so I
And
realized after
one.
a couple of, yeah, the YouTube, I realized that they were not in the United States and that they were here. But I'm
Mm.
still researching Panama, but in the back of my mind, Portugal kept coming up in the back of my mind. I start reading, but I'm still stuck on Panama. But then the pandemic just blew up.
Right.
So I had, and so I sort of switched gears because they dealt with the pandemic, Portugal, different than the United States. And so I sort of switched my research. And then, I was doing a YouTube, I Stephanie Perry and a
Mm.
different channels, Blacks at Global, the Yarboroughs, and then I came across you and Rick. And this is probably about this time, it's probably 2021. I'm not sure exactly because y'all hadn't. you all had only done a few. And
Yeah.
so I was like, there are really Black people living there, Black Americans. So I switched my gears, and then I realized, there was these groups. I don't want to advertise any other group, but other groups of Blacks here. And
Mhm.
so that's when I switched my gears to Panama. I'm sorry, Portugal in 2022.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can say
Yes.
the other groups. I don't believe in competition,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, because Black in
The big, what we call
Portugal,
the big group.
yeah, Black in
Yeah, the big group.
Portugal
Yeah.
is the Facebook group, and I'm
Right.
always going to give them props because they have helped build community here, and
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
their meetups and everything else, their get-togethers are ways to
Right.
meet like-minded folks that look like you that speak English, which helps with a
Exactly.
softer landing when you get to a foreign country. No, we
No
didn't
question.
move abroad just to only hang out with Americans, but if you need to know where to get your hair braided, you can't ask a Portuguese person
Exactly.
necessarily. And the Black Portuguese who will do your hair, they don't all speak English.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like
Correct. Correct.
the young white Portuguese, like if they grew up here, then yeah, they're going to speak English because they learned it in school, and if they're younger. But if they're
Right.
immigrants like we are, then they're not going to necessarily speak English because they might not have gotten that in their
Right.
home country. So,
Correct.
um,
Correct.
okay, so I'm going to ask you to think about. I want to know specifically why not Panama, and what was the thing that made you switch. But first, let's say hi to some folks who are in the
Okay.
chat, because Diane has been here since 3 o'clock Eastern time. So thank you, Diane, for
Thank you,
logging in
Diane. How are you
early. And
doing?
Helen wasn't too far after
Hey,
her.
Ellen.
Yes, yes, yes. Hey, CK
CK.
is in the house. I love it. She's telling people to hit the like button as soon as you come in. Hey, Vicky, good to see you. Karen Louise is
Hey,
in the
Karen Louise.
house. Hey, Anya, good to see you. Valerina's in the house. Where's Valerina? Show. There we go.
There you go.
Why am I doing that? I can use this. Hey, Mary, good to see you in the chat. Happy Mother's Day to you too.
Yes.
Hey, Dee. Greetings, OBU family. Vicky is in the house. How are you doing, Vicky? Good to see you in the chat. Chanel is in the house. Regina, Miss B, she ain't saying nothing. Hopefully you have recovered from our Friday excursion.
Oh,
Right. Marguerite was there too. The AVX girl. Helen, good to see you from Wilmington, Delaware. Is it still cold there or is it getting warm? Hey, Action VJ.
Action VJ.
From moving abroad dream to reality, right? That's all I'm talking about. That's all I'm talking about. It's a dream if you don't have a plan. Otherwise, it's a goal. It's a dream if you don't have a plan. Once you have a plan, that ain't a dream. That's a goal. And you just do the thing. You work your plan, right? Right, Diane? Good to see you. Deneen Rogers from Atlanta, Georgia. That looks like a new name.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome. If you've been lurking in the background but haven't been saying anything, glad you're saying something. Good to see you in the chat. Vanessa is in the chat. Hey, Alicia, haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Jametta is in the house.
Hey, Jametta.
Hey, Winnie.
Winnie.
There's our girl. Hey, Greta.
Hey, Greta.
Hey, Greta. It's funny because Greta's been around as long as you have, Marguerite. We launched March 20th, 2022.
Yes.
So when you found us,
Okay, it's 2022. Okay.
when you found us, I mean, that was at the very beginning. At the very beginning. And so when I say she's an OG, y'all, I mean she's an OG, right, Angel? Jess is in the house. We got
Jess.
Tanya. Serpantha Man is in the house. Hey, Pinky.
Pinky, how you doing?
Evelyn. Hey, Krishan.
Hey, Krishan.
We still have some tickets available for the meetup if you are planning to be in Portugal, June 17th. That is our Freedom Day celebration. The boat excursion, unfortunately, is sold out. But the party is going to be on and popping, and the food at the at Soul Kitchen and Bar is
Oh my
excellent.
goodness, yes.
Right, Marguerite? It is really good. Hey,
Oh,
Frederica, EV2.
yes.
You go ahead. You were going to say, uh-oh. Are we getting a delay, Marguerite? I think she's
I can hear you.
okay. A little
Yeah,
bit of a
it's a
delay.
little staticky, a little bit.
Okay. And you've got all your windows closed?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes we have to deal with this internet, folks, but I am recording this time. So that's supposed to, StreamYard says that's going to clear everything up. Hey, Jazzy, Professor is in the house, Alice
Professor.
West. We are going to get started. Thank you all for joining us today. Let's talk about moving abroad as a single female. Did it ever occur to you that because you are single, you shouldn't do this?
No. No.
Can you imagine why single people might not want to do it?
Maybe finances, because two incomes is always sometimes better than one. A sense of security level, and I mean, it'd been nice to have a partner, but that wasn't going to hold me back. You have to believe in yourself that you can do it. I come from a mother and a grandmother that were true grit. Like I said, I'm from Texas. We like our guns, and I'm just not the strongest woman, but I think I have a little bit of my mother and grandmother, true grit, American spirit. I mean, I do have that true American spirit. I am American, and if they can do it, I can do it. That's how the person I am.
And I have to say, I do appreciate that America did that to us.
Yes,
that tenacity.
especially for Black people, especially for Black women, because we've had to lift everybody up. Even my white male coworkers had to lift everybody up. Where's ask Marguerite? Ask Marguerite. She knows where everything is. You have to lift everybody up. You still got to take your mom and your aunt and your grandfather to the doctor. We take care of everybody, and so you carry the weight of we built America. We
Right.
built America.
Literally and figuratively.
Even when you come, literally, even the Black churches of America, which we don't get credit for, Black women built the Black churches of America. We were the one with our nickels and dimes putting in the offering tray. And
Yep.
so we built a lot of I'm talking, the Black churches of America. So we are strong women. I feel that we are strong women as a race, and we've had to be for various reasons. So
yeah,
I'm a product of that.
And you don't appreciate it until you go to other places and you see that people kind of go for the okey doke and they're like, oh, well, guess that's just the way it is. I'm like, no, it ain't. You say I can't do it. Watch, right?
Watch.
Rui, glad to see you in the chat.
It's been a while. I was thinking about it.
It's been a minute. Yeah, he watches the replays. I saw him in the comments. I'm looking for the questions, but yeah. So you said something that I think is worth repeating, and this is for everyone who is out there who is saying, I got to wait until I do this. I got to wait until I find a man. I got to wait until I find a woman. I got to wait until I lose 30 pounds. I got to wait, right? Like, I mean, I have to wait until I get my finances straight. Definitely. Yeah. You don't want to be out here in these international streets asking about a food bank. Right. But all of this other stuff, I feel like it's an excuse because you're scared, because a person is scared.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And
don't get me wrong, I would be great.
Go ahead.
It'd be great to have a spouse. I think that's the most beautiful part, if you had someone to share your experience with. because I don't want to discount men at all. I love my Black American men because they have helped build America as well. But that wasn't my case. It just, I've been divorced for many years, and that just wasn't my case.
And then to try and wait around for somebody to come while you're not living your dream. You may be doing the thing and living your dream is what's going to attract that person to you,
Right.
as opposed to sitting around waiting.
Correct.
If that's what you
Correct.
desire,
Right.
and we'll get to that too, because I got dating on the list, because the inquiring minds want to know. So if you could think about 2 to 3 things why you chose Portugal over Panama, and I'm asking this question, folks, not to say that one is better than the other.
Right.
What we're
Right.
talking about is a thought process
Right.
to be realistic about how you see your future life. Panama was never on my list because I don't do humidity and heat and mosquitoes. I don't do that. There's a bit of humidity here, like California style humidity, but that extreme humidity, like we have in the South, and then you walk out and it feels like a wall. When I used to go visit my son in Louisiana, and like you open the air-conditioned door from the
I
hotel.
don't mind the heat.
I can't take
I
it.
don't mind
I don't
it.
like having to take a shower every 2 hours, but some people love it.
I lived in Houston for a while,
Yeah, no.
and yeah,
So
Well,
yeah.
that's
a
the
brief
reason.
while.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So the weather was one of the reasons.
Once you have this fantasy. So weather was never something I really researched for like a year or so. I don't know why. I just thought it was Caribbean kind of weather,
Mhm.
but it's hot. It's hot and it's humid. And I'm from Texas, and I know hot and humid. And I don't mind hot for a couple of months out of the year because I like 4 seasons. I don't mind that, but it's hot and it's humid. And so I was starting to think like, okay, hot and humid, that brings mosquitoes, they bring all kind of bugs. And then I learned that Panama has all kind of exotic insects. I was like, I don't know. I don't know about that. And exotic birds. I'm like, I don't want them on my window. And then, even they say you can spray and it still gets in the the cracks in your home. And I'm like, scorpions get in the bed. I'm like, okay, that's where it stopped. I was like, okay, I can do it. And then they have the rainy season. And when it rains, it can rain every day for, 2 or 3 months. And I was like, nah. So it was those 3 main things that sort of turned me off Panama. And I still may get a residency there, but to live there, I decided that may not be best for me, especially going through the stage of life that I was going through. It's still going through it right now.
Right.
You and I know
right.
what we're talking about. Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
Where's my fan?
That wasn't going to work for
Yeah.
me.
Well, if you do decide to get residency there, let us know what the process is, because I like choices. And with global warming, you think it's going to get warmer, but no, it's going to get cooler because the ice caps are
Right.
melting. So it's going to
Right.
get cooler. It's the opposite of what sounds logical. So who knows 20 years from now?
Exactly. And what attracted one of the things is that they use the US dollars and they don't have hurricanes, which
Right.
being in Houston and Galveston, I experience hurricanes all the time. So that Panama doesn't have those things. And it's a very friendly country like Mexico.
Okay.
So there are definitely positives. They're definitely positive. They have the pensionata visa and, but that weather was a turn off. That hot,
Okay.
humid.
Right.
Yeah, it's a turn off.
Hey, Marguerite, it's Monty and Ken.
Hi.
Yeah, they're going to be here soon.
They'll be here soon.
They're going to be here soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Less
They're
than
gonna be
20, I think 27 days now.
Something like that.
Something like that.
June. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So and again, what do you want, folks? What do you want your everyday life to look like? If going out and doing a run at 11 o'clock in the daytime is what you want to do, Panama may not be the place for you if that heat is going to make you
May
pass
not be the
out,
place for you.
right?
Right. Right.
Um,
You have to look at everyday life. You have to kind of put away the glamour and look at everyday life.
Right.
exactly, exactly. And I get bored easily, so I need a place that has a lot of variety and things to do, and even obscure museums. I like going to museums, and looking around and just learning things. I just need to be constantly learning, otherwise I could be hard to deal with. So
So Marguerite, you're always in different events, and so I'll call them events and gatherings and stuff like that. So a lot of people you might meet that are new, do they ask you different things about, what's your everyday life look like? Do you like to do this? Do you like to hang out at the beach? Do they try to find out all the different things that you like doing here in Lisbon?
Yeah, I have friends and family always. I have one sister, like every time she calls me, I'm on my way out to eat. And she said, "You just stay out. You never home." And I'm like, "I am home sometimes." She said, "No, not when I call you." So, I mean, I have days where I have to clean my apartment and cook a little something and wash clothes. But I do have a calendar of events. I do, and I like that. I like being active.
Right.
And sometimes I just walk. I just walk in the neighborhood, or in fact, actually tomorrow I'm going to start language classes, so I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Okay.
It's not the government
wow.
language classes.
Okay.
The government language. I'm taking that one as well in September, but this language class is just at a local school,
Okay.
so
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
probably not as intense. So I want to learn to be able to communicate in Portuguese more than I am now, more than
Yes.
bom dia and boa noite and de
Exactly.
nada. Yeah, I want
Exactly.
to.
It was interesting today. We were at a restaurant, and our friend Twana, she was doing so well. But see, speaking in context, it gets easy. It gets easier. It really does. Now, if they come up with and
It
they just
does.
say something out of the blue and you don't know what it's in relationship to, then you don't know to listen for certain words. But in her mind, they
Right.
were going to ask her, did she want a small or a large? But that's not what they asked. They said, do you want a chilled glass or a normal glass?
Mm.
And she's like, huh? And I just saw the look on her face. And so I said, well, what she's asking you is, because I heard certain words and I'm like, okay, frozen glass, non-frozen glass. And I told her, I said, I understood 2 words of what that lady said, but it was enough for me to be able to understand in context, because we in a restaurant, you
Right.
ordering something to drink,
Right.
you know, what she's saying. So it does get easier
Yeah.
once you've been here for a while. It really, really does.
Good.
Well, I
Yeah.
noticed you picked
Yeah.
up on a lot of things because you hear the conversation that's going on. I'm sitting there looking like I don't know what they're talking about, but you respond back to them, just like the Uber drivers and stuff. I noticed that.
Yeah, Spanish helps. Spanish helps,
Yeah.
and then once you get used to those same words, how they're pronounced in Portuguese, then I can start to listen for certain things. But still, I get lost.
You play it off, man.
Yeah, pois.
And it, yeah.
Rui, I learned pois, which is like, yeah, okay,
And it,
I follow, right? It's kind of like that. All right, we've got a lot of questions, so I'm going to get to some of them right now. But before I get started with that, you came here as a single person, and your family
yes.
like your behind ain't never home. So has it been easy to build community here?
Oh, yes. Yes. And I actually had started building a community here before I moved here.
Mm-hmm.
With Blacks to Global, with you all, Black in Portugal, and then some people start adding me to their WhatsApp group, and I didn't really know who they were per
Mm.
se. And so, and I got here, I was added to more WhatsApp. In fact, I've had to kind of put a couple of them on mute because it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
But yes, I had formed a community before I got here, which led to a softer landing than I think if I went to Panama, because I didn't have a group there other than I did look at Charlotte Van Horn. You know who I'm talking about, Charlotte Van Horn in Panama. I had started following her, but she was the only Black female that I was familiar with through YouTube in Panama. I wasn't familiar with anybody else.
Yeah. And she's
Versus
in
here,
our age group,
Yeah.
which helps, right?
right, which helps. It helps a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, and I think it's important, so before I go on, you said you started building community before you got here. So you did that by joining the Facebook groups.
Yes, that was first.
And
That
then
I
what?
joined, and then Facebook was Black in Portugal. Then I joined your all's Facebook, and then Blacks are Global. And I don't want to forget to mention I joined. It's not a Facebook; it's an app called Expat, which is
Expat.
run by Shaw Williams. Shaw
Sure. Yeah.
Winters. So I don't want to leave her out.
Yes.
But I joined that one, and then I actually start communicating with people. It's amazing how you start communicating, because one guy I communicated with, and I don't want to call his name, he lives in Porto, and when I was scouting, I went there, and he showed me around and everything. And then once I moved here, I let him know that I moved here. He hooked me up with 2 other women that live here. So you start to form these communities and meet these friends. And so that's how it all works. So all that was falling into play before I actually moved here.
Okay. So that's how it's done, folks. That's how it's done. But you've got to, even for us introverts, you've got to put yourself out there a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. And don't forget, I had joined you as well, you and Rick.
Right.
And then you start interacting with people, and Vicky G, who's in the chat. And do you see, last year, the June meetup, we put faces to these names.
Exactly.
Right.
And so I've stayed in contact with some of the people from last June.
See? So if Portugal's on your list, come to the meetup, because you're probably going to meet people who will be moving here around the same time you're moving. Right?
Exactly.
Bonnie, who is in the chat, who said hello to you, she was at that meetup with Ken.
And yes, and she and I have stayed in contact since last year, June.
Yeah. See? Mm-hmm. So that's how it's done. All right, let's get to some of these questions, and I've got some stuff written down just in case they don't ask. So Beverly's good. Would you recommend an Airbnb while I scout for the best place for me to live? Yes, Beverly.
I think that's a personal choice. I stay in a hotel. I think it's a personal choice.
Yeah, and I think I don't want. Go ahead. Why did you choose a hotel over an Airbnb?
I'm not gonna cook. I'm not gonna clean.
Okay.
I'm not gonna cook. I'm not gonna clean. I'm not out here buying groceries. I'm scouting. I'm enjoying. Like I said, it's a personal preference.
Right. Yeah, and I think
Airbnb tells me you're gonna go out and buy groceries.
Yep. And that's why, and so when we came for a month, we stayed in Airbnbs and tried to replicate our lives. So we did go into the grocery store, because some people, I've heard of people moving because they couldn't find what they wanted in the grocery stores.
Yeah.
So if you are going to cook, if you have a lifestyle where you get takeout most of the time, then it's whatever, right? We have everything from every kind of food that is on the planet for the most part. There's no, type of food that's not here, already prepared. However, to find some of the ingredients in the grocery stores can be challenging. So what does your everyday life look like, and try to replicate that on your scouting trip. So that's what we did. And I do know, like, another girlfriend of mine, she rarely cooks, and she stayed in a hotel on her scouting trips.
Hmm.
Right? That's
Right.
that. Right? So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because you're absolutely right.
Mhm.
Because my default is yes. What do you mean you don't cook? But yeah, there's lots of people, and to me, cooking is buying a rotisserie chicken and picking up a bag of salad. That's my that's my cooking on an average day. Baby, you making a salad, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm coming to Portugal in October for 2 to 3 months. Okay. Is the golden visa affordable? I too will be traveling alone. So they've gotten rid of the real estate golden visa,
Portion.
Beverly. So the only, besides I think they have still left in place a donation to a like NGO or public private partnership, like the Symphony or something like that.
Mm.
And it seems to me that's like 175,000. Otherwise, you can invest in a business for about the same amount of money, or you can start a business, but the business has to be able to employ a certain amount of people. So that's the golden visa. Um, the other visas are easier, much easier.
Correct.
This is for you.
You date in Portugal. Is it easy to find people to date?
Inquiring minds want to
Um,
know.
yeah, I think it depends on the type of person you are. I didn't come here specifically to just date. I came to live my best life, and if it happens, it happens. Everybody's different. I truly came here to live my best life and enjoy me, rediscover myself. And if someone falls in that plan, I'm open to date that person.
Have you felt freer to be yourself since you've been here?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
what does that look like for you
Well, you mean my day or just in general?
in general?
In general. Well, it just I can walk down the street and I don't have to code switch. Let me say that. That's probably number one. I don't feel like I have to code switch. And I don't know if everybody know what I'm referring to. And I'm not here to offend anyone, but I work in a conservative Republican type office. And so it was always this look a certain way, dress a certain way, talk a certain way. I haven't had my hair like this in 30 years. That's like, I don't know if anybody can see my hair is in twist. That was like, what's she trying to do over there? I can be myself.
Really?
I can be the Black woman that I am.
You mean
I
in
can walk down the
2022 braids or twists were weird in Tennessee?
in my office, the office that I worked in. They,
Okay.
they, they didn't say anything. They know not to say anything, but you could feel it in the air.
Mm.
Mm,
They couldn't say anything, but you could feel it in the air.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the other part for me has been, and I don't think Rick has the same thing, because Rick has always been a like love me or leave me baby type of person, even at the job or
Mhm.
anywhere. He's just not gonna play those games, and I respect that about you. Um, I didn't ever feel like I had that choice, and I didn't put myself in the financial position to have that choice,
Mhm.
right? But I
Yeah.
think the other piece of, so job aside, I also feel like, there's two other parts of our lives. There's just the total friendship part, and then there's that gray area that I had because I was involved with so many nonprofits, of my volunteer life,
Mhm. Mhm.
which
Right.
sometimes touched my professional life, right? And
Exactly. Exactly. Mhm.
right, and so I always felt like I
Right.
still was putting on an be an act to be the person that people expect me to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Because at my job, there is sort of a two level, the employer I work for, and also I just say I was a courtroom lawyer, so you had the judge too that expect a certain level of dress code and appearance. I'm not talking about appearance is how you look. I mean, you're pretty and not pretty, but I'm talking about there is a decorum, and then when jurors are sitting there, there is a decorum as well. And I get that. I definitely get that, because people do oftentimes judge a book by its cover, and presentation is number one. Absolutely. So saying all that, sometimes you can't always be what you want to be, because you have to appease what this group expect you to look like, or to dress, or to, this box they put you in.
Mm-hmm.
Do
And I
you
don't have that
know,
box anymore.
right? I learned in
Go ahead.
1995 in the state of California. I don't know if it's the state of California or the county of LA. I don't know whose rule this was, but my attorney said women were not allowed to wear pantsuits. They had to wear a dress or a skirt suit with
Yes,
pantyhose and all that nonsense.
the first 6 years of my career, we were not allowed to wear pants. We were not allowed to wear pants. The first 6 years of my career.
So
We're not talking like
that long
100 years
ago.
ago.
Right.
Right.
Not real.
Yeah.
It took one female to stand up. She stood up and said, "I don't understand this rule," and they had nothing to fall back on because there's no laws. So they had to loosen it.
Yeah.
But even with all that, they say on the first day of trial, you can't wear the first day of trial,
Really? Wow.
because you are going back to the appearance.
Yes, but a woman in a pantsuit, in my opinion, looks just as professional as a woman in a skirt suit.
Right.
All of this false, fake, hypocritical propriety and moralism and all this crap that goes on in America when they're the most corrupt, hypocritic, immoral,
Absolutely.
sexist
Absolutely.
folks, right? But they want to pretend. They want the
Right.
illusion of morality, right? The illusion
Right.
of all of this
Right.
stuff. And it just, I'm
Right.
so over it.
And now I have to admit, the last 15 years of my career, a lot of that went away. They had no choice. I mean, and then, you have the younger men and women, they kind of wore what they wanted to within reason. So it's nothing,
Yeah.
unless you're going to buy our clothes, whatever's in my closet is what I'm going to wear today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As long as it looks professional, I don't see what the issue is. But
Right.
what were your thoughts on the financial 7-step program you mentioned? So
I don't want to give him credit.
So LJ Hill, look, it's a bald white man who's on YouTube.
I don't want to say his name.
And you can go
Right, I don't say
ahead and Google him. But Marguerite did say, you
Right.
did say that as your introduction to, it's not like we had no financial education, but our parents knew what they knew. And there were certain expectations that they had.
Mm-hmm.
So they could only teach what they could teach. And this is a whole new world, in the last 20 years, all of us have had access to start investing in the stock market directly. That did not exist in the 90s.
No, they didn't have that extra cash or anything like that to put in, and you couldn't
Right.
invest small amounts.
You couldn't invest small amounts.
You had to have larger amounts of money to get into the game of investment.
Exactly. So I think LJ Hill, first of all, welcome, because that's a new name.
Yeah.
That there are a lot of Black folks who have financial programs that are just as good, if not better. And
absolutely, I know that now. Absolutely.
Right.
Mhm.
And, whether it's whether it's our financial education course that helps you figure out, how to get to how to get to financial independence, based upon your situation. A lot of these folks think that there's only one way.
Mm-hmm.
And the bald white guy likes to shame people. And that's why I don't like to,
Absolutely. I
right?
don't, yes. And
Shame people
I
for
didn't follow it
ignorance.
right. I didn't follow him 100% because there are different things I disagree with. One, not using credit cards at all. I absolutely disagree with that. But I was at a point in my life that I wanted to get completely out of debt. And 2018, 2019, I didn't know a lot about different plans. And so I had a book of his from, I don't even know how I got the book. And so I start reading the book one day and start going on the channel. But I never did it 100%. But it did help me get started.
Mm-hmm.
No
Right.
question, it did.
Right.
But I didn't. A lot of things about it. I don't want to get into it too much because I'm sure most people have figured out who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You can do the avalanche, snowball, whatever fits your budget.
Yeah.
Consolidate your credit cards, whatever works for you. But find something. Find
Yes.
something.
And LJ Hill, we've done a couple of videos on eliminating debt. And
Yes.
and there's a plenty of,
Yes.
of other Black folks out there who have YouTube channels and many books and things like that
Yes.
on debt
Yes.
elimination as well as wealth growth, including Our Rich Journey, who
Right.
are the ones who
Yes.
introduced us to the concept of FIRE, financial independence, retire early. That's the FIRE movement.
But
Right. And
one of
that's
the
how I
bigger,
found the mod. That's how I
Ahmad and
found the
Christina.
mod. Because the 7 baby steps, you start that thread, and after that, I never went back to him. I never even finished.
Right? It's like, wait a minute, but there's these cool people over here who are trying to educate
And
instead
they
of shame.
right?
Yeah, and they
Right?
Black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. What were you going to say,
No, I was
sweetie?
going to say the most important thing of any steps or anything, any ways of thinking of you want to invest and how you want to invest. The first thing, the most important thing is you have to want to do it. You have to commit yourself to do it. You have to change your mind.
There's
You have to change
no
your
magic
mindset.
pill. There's no magic
No.
bullet. Like, we can give you tips and tricks all day long, but then you've got to do it. Like, one of the things, every bit of unexpected money that I received went to paying off debt. So any bonus, any Christmas bonus, anything,
Exactly.
tax refund, all of the money that you weren't necessarily expecting that were not part of the budget went to paying off debt. I don't know which method I use. I use the one where you pay off the smallest one first because I like those quick
Yeah,
wins.
that's the one I did.
I need those quick wins, right?
Yeah.
And so avalanche and snowball, you can Google that. It's really simple. It's not
Exactly.
rocket science, baby, because if we can do it,
No.
Right. Anybody can.
Got to have a change of mind, though.
Absolutely. And the other thing that we did, because we were talking about credit cards on Friday, the other thing that we did is that, and some of you already know this, is we literally wrote a letter to the Joneses and told them we were breaking up with them. We were no longer interested in competing with the Joneses or trying to keep up with y'all. I ain't buying another Coach bag. We ain't getting them twin Teslas, right? It does have to be a mind shift because, I will give props to the people that I think support people who look like us. So the other person is this lady named Paula Pant. And I love what she says, which is you can afford anything, just not everything.
Everything. Yes.
And that is a mind shift too, because America works us so effing hard. And then if you're brown, then you either feel like, or they're showing you that you got to work twice as hard to get half as much, right? So you're tired, you're stressed out, you're dealing with racism with those little bitty cuts, those little bitty paper cuts, and the stress and all of that stuff, right? And so how do you deal with it? Stuff. You buy stuff, right?
Yes.
To make you feel better.
Exactly. Yeah.
You buy
To make you
stuff
feel better.
to put on an act that, look, I am just like you, treat me better. They never will. They never will. Because because if they wanted to treat you like a human, they'd just be treating you like a human. And it wouldn't be dependent upon
Right.
what you're driving, what you're wearing, what bag you're carrying.
Right.
It would just be about, you act nice to me, I'm gonna act nice to you. Greta wants to know,
Yes.
how
Yes.
long did it take you to find your apartment?
It didn't take long. Once I had a relocate company, and once they told me what my VFS date was in DC, I used Rossini, and it may have been 4 or 5 weeks. I don't remember exactly. About 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
It
And I
wasn't too
think
bad. It wasn't too
the
bad.
bigger your budget, obviously, the easier it is. But some people,
Exactly. Yes.
you pick your budget and you stick to it, and you just, you start early enough so
Mhm.
that you don't feel pressure to take something that is
Just anything to get you in there.
exactly.
Right.
Now, the good part
Exactly.
about Portugal is, by law, you only have to complete a third of
Your
the
contract.
contract. You have to
Right.
have a 1-year contract before you even apply. Before you even apply,
Correct.
you got to have a
That's
contract
correct.
in your hand. Now,
When you go to
whether
VFS, yes.
whether you have begun paying on the lease or not, it depends on your landlord. We were paying for an empty apartment.
It's my yes, I was too. I
You
was
gotta
too.
want Portugal. You gotta want it, because it's
Definitely
not
want yeah,
easy. It's not easy. So
yeah.
she used Rossini. We used Rossini. His information is in the description below.
Yeah, and I was going to add too, especially if you're looking to come over here, ask people in Black in Portugal, ask Krishan at Blacks at Global, ask different people, ask us uh, to get with real estate agents. Don't just go and it's not the thing you go to the phone book and point out a real estate agent, because you don't know. Because there's a lot of real estate agents that are looking out for the owners and
It's
not
not the
looking out for
same.
you. It's totally different.
It's not
There's
the
no
same.
MLS or anything like that here. So,
Correct,
find
correct.
someone that you can trust, or other people that
To give you a
can
reference.
trust to give you a reference,
Yeah.
and go with that person.
And I would
Right.
say avoid traditional agents in general. I would say you have an easier time if you rent directly from the landlord.
landlord.
I'd start by looking for those, because it's easier to negotiate with the person who owns it. It's easier. Either they want you or they don't. Agents have the wrong incentive because they get a commission
Yeah, they got to get that
Yes.
commission.
based upon how high the
Commission.
rent is.
Right.
So it's
Right.
the wrong
That's correct.
incentive as the person who is the person going to be paying
Right.
it.
And that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of
Right.
people out there. Rossini, excellent person.
Yep.
And then there's other people that have worked with agents, real estate agents, that they trust totally. And that agent has done a good job for them. So they're looking for their referrals and stuff like that, but they're looking out for the clients. They're not looking out for the owners, they're looking out for you.
Or looking out for their own commission. Cutting off
Correct.
their nose to
That's
spite
that
their
is correct.
face. Ooh, Laura, I like this. The 4 blocks: fear, finances, family, and friends. It can be, right? That will
Yeah.
block you from living your dream life,
Oh yeah.
They sure would.
and
They definitely will.
so let's talk about family and friends, Marguerite. I know, I know, I don't know, but I'm gonna say I know that somebody in your life said, "What? What the heck are
Oh,
you doing?
yeah.
Why would you ever want to
Yeah,
leave
yeah.
the US of A?" Tell us about
Oh,
all of
yeah.
that.
Wait, one was like, "Where is Portugal?" You realize who your friends are. Your friends are going to support you. I have some friends that's like they're gonna come visit. They support me. They're like, "Wow, they think it's just the greatest thing." And then I have the other ones. It's like, "Girl, you're gonna be broke in 5 years, girl.
Yeah.
What's over there? You going over there look for a man? what are you doing? You know, you're going to leave your mama? You're going to leave your child? Yeah.
Oh, you have a baby?
Well, I have a child, but he's an adult. He's 28 years old.
That's what I
Oh,
thought.
he's
That's what I thought. Like, what do you mean leave your child?
Yeah. You going to
He
leave
a
your baby?
grown
You going to leave your baby?
man,
yeah.
I'm like, he's grown. He has a career.
right? He didn't think about me. If I can get if I
He's
can get
not
a
thinking about
call,
me.
right? If I can get a
Mhm.
call once every other week, I feel
I'm doing
blessed,
good. I'm doing
right? Mom, I just wanted to
yeah.
say hello. Really? You don't want that? You don't, right? I feel blessed.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so
Yeah.
shame on that lady for trying to curse you that way.
Mhm.
You gonna be broke in 5 years.
Sure did tell me that. She did. And her
So
finances
in
are messed.
her mind, you have to work until you die. Is that what she's
Correct.
doing?
That's what she's doing. I believe that's what she's doing. She's struggling, and she shouldn't be. She shouldn't have to. Yeah. So, but I will say, as far as my siblings, they are supportive. My mom, she's older. She was a little, kind of like, why don't you just visit for 2 or 3 months and come back and go back but now she's proud of me. She's proud of me. She tells people, "Oh,
Yeah.
my daughter lives in Portugal."
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one of my good friends, whose birthday is today, happy birthday, Art, if you're watching.
Oh, it's Art's birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Art.
And it's also birthday of my uncle who's no longer with us. I remember the Cinco de Mayo. It's easy.
My mother.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, my mother passed away on Cinco de Mayo.
That's right. And Wiggy's
Oh,
birthday is on
wow.
Cinco de Mayo. But in any event, now I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh, family members, right?
Yep.
Is that what I was talking
You
about?
were starting my family.
So Art was in a cigar bar or something like that. He lives in LA. Of course, my family's in LA. And he overheard this Black lady saying, Gloria Vincent, daughter, Portugal. I was like, so Gloria's bragging about it now? Because before she didn't want me to quit her job. She's like, don't
Yeah.
quit that good job. I like that job for you, but it's killing me, Mom. But I
Yeah.
like that job for you. Oh, you ain't hear
Yes.
me. So
Yeah.
now it sounds like she might be proud of me as well. And it's
She
really
is.
funny. Art
Yes.
said, I can't believe I was just in this random cigar bar and I hear Black Utopia, Portugal, and Gloria Vincent. I was
Right.
like, hey now, mama's doing some marketing. She's down there doing the word of mouth. So I think our loved ones, if they are not on the envy train, on the jealous train, they come around.
Absolutely. Yes. 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 And I have a sister and her husband are in the process of moving to Mexico for about 2 or 3 years. So their daughters can immerse in learning Spanish. And their daughters are very young. So yeah, and so my siblings were supportive. They are supportive. My mom, just mom's a mom. They don't want their children to go that far, and I understood that. But
Yeah.
she's fine with it now. She's
Yeah.
fine.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's
hmm
good. So I think we already answered this. How long was your scouting trip?
Both trips were about 2 weeks.
Oh,
I
so you
came
did two
twice.
trips.
I
When
did
did you come
two.
the first time?
2021 and 2022. See,
Okay.
2021 was because I didn't come in 2020 because of COVID.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you came in 2021 for 2 weeks, and then you came back June 2022 for two
Yes.
weeks. Okay.
hmm hmm
Did it feel more familiar, or did it still feel really, really new when you came back in June?
A sense of familiar, even though it was a year, a little bit more than a year, maybe 12 months apart. I mean, 14 months apart. Uh, it's like, oh, I remember that corner. I remember, it wasn't like totally strange. And Lisbon is a very condensed city. And I tell people you can't get lost. You may get turned around, but you really can't get lost unless well, I don't think you can. I
Yeah,
don't think
you
you
have to
get
have a
lost.
really bad sense of direction. And to me, if you just keep walking downhill, you're gonna end up at the river.
You're
I
gonna
didn't
end
want to
up at
say
the
that,
river.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say that, but yeah, you have to have very bad sense of direction. And I can kind of see that because some of the streets they're not straight. They just,
Yeah, we're not on a grid. We're not on a grid.
no, we're not,
So
Definitely
we're
not
not
on
on
a
the
grid
grid.
system. This ain't Manhattan,
Not on the grid.
right.
where
Right.
you can say, okay, 43 West, and B Street,
Yeah.
and you know exactly where the B Street's right in between A and C Street, right?
Yeah.
No,
There's been many a times I said, well, if I take this street, I should end up over here and end up in a totally different place.
streets
Right.
will curve
Exactly.
They'll curve
around.
around.
They're traveling east and west, and then they're traveling kind of northwest and southeast. It's like, okay. We've never gotten lost, but we have definitely ended up where we didn't expect to be.
Well,
And it's
yeah,
like,
Exactly.
how did we end up over here? I
it's
thought we would be over there.
it's like you get an Uber and you get in the Uber and they leave to take you to a spot that you want to go to, and you think, okay, it should take me a longer period of time to get there. But then all of a sudden they go up and down this street and up and down that street, and you end up right back around to where you started almost. It's
Yeah.
like, well, this is around the corner from the house.
Yeah, well, within the one-way streets and stuff.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, this is.
Yeah, it's part of its charm. A lot of the older cities in Europe were built around the church.
Churches. Yeah.
So it's like,
Yes.
here's the church,
Exactly.
and then it spreads out from there.
Right.
So I hope to connect with some Black residents when I arrive to assist my figuring things out and getting anchored. Beverly, we got you covered. We got you covered.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Just let us know what's what, and we will make it happen. Vicki, I forgot to put a Q in front of my question earlier. Sorry, Vicki, I missed it. I want to say hello to Marguerite. Hey, and ask, how did Portugal do COVID differently than the US? Oh, yeah, you did mention that at the beginning.
Yes. I did not like the way the United States handled COVID. I remember where Portugal initially just shut everything down. And I think if America, this is my opinion, had shut everything down for a few months, then we could open back up. But they opened up too quickly. And they didn't mandate people wear masks. And I'm not saying masks. I think if you love your mankind, you will wear a mask more so that your neighbors do not get COVID.
Right. Looking out
And
for somebody.
so it's love thy neighbor type of mindset. If you don't want to wear a mask, wear it for your neighbor. And I think that's the way Portugal mindset was. We wear a mask for our neighbors, for our loved one, our children. America, we stopped wearing masks too
They
quick.
turned it into a political issue.
Right?
Instead of a
And it
health
wasn't a
issue.
political issue here.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't a political issue here. From all the research I did, it was not a political issue. Because if you love your neighbor, you're going to wear a mask.
So what does that say about supposedly the safest, richest country on earth, right? Where, like, and when I hear people say, well, America was built on Christian principles, because that
No, it
ain't too
wasn't.
Christian of you. That ain't
No,
right.
America
Like,
was not built on.
no, it wasn't. It was not. I know that. But if it were,
Mm-mm.
then why won't you wear a doggone mask? Because the
Right.
word says, love thy neighbor as thyself. Right?
Right.
That's what the word, but you want to pick and choose and just talk about gays, guns, and abortion.
Right.
Abortions. Yeah.
And call that God, right? Like, I don't know. That was what was eye-opening, was just the lack of humanity during people
Right.
lost their ever loving minds. And to see
Right.
people like going into Target or whatever and seeing the rack of masks and just knocking them over just on general
Right.
principle because you mad, you know. It's
Right.
like
Right.
where are
Right.
we living?
Remember there were a couple of incidents where a man would come in and a clerk or someone at the store would tell them they need to wear their mask. They go back to the car and come in and shoot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is absolutely asinine.
Right.
It's what are we doing here in America? And I think COVID would not have lasted as long if everybody had worn a mask. Whether you like or don't like it, do it for your family, for your neighbor, for your coworkers.
Marcia says,
But it was a political
coughing
issue.
everywhere, touching everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here, because we were here at the latter part of COVID when there was still a mask mandate. And I remember we were in the vestibule waiting to get onto the ferry. And so it wasn't that you had to wear them walking around or in stores necessarily, but definitely on public transportation. And so, Rick and I still had on our masks, of course, because we would come from the States, where half the people didn't get vaccinated. So we're in there, and there were a couple of people. You remember how people they'd be hanging down here on their chin, the
Yes.
mask, right? Or it would be right here, right, with their nose out. And I remember the guards coming in, right, and saying, "Can you pull up your mask? Can you pull up your mask?" Did you see any attitudes?
Oh no, none.
No attitudes, just like, "Oh yeah,
Right.
that's right, just
Right. Right.
there are
Right.
babies dying and starving, and you tripping
Right.
because you got to be a little bit uncomfortable and I have to say, I never got COVID until
Yeah.
like a year ago. But during that time, I sometimes double mask. Never got it.
Yes. Yes.
So CK asks, isn't there a mosquito issue in Portugal too? There's mosquitoes
There's
here,
mosquitoes. Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
not like
Not
tropical.
like
Yeah.
Not like
It's
that.
not like Texas.
Mm-mm,
It's not like
mm-mm.
Texas. Mm-mm.
No,
No.
I've been bitten once so far. This as it's been getting warmer. So Paula says, y'all speaking to me, get the finances, but I fear leaving right now, telling myself my college kiddos will be okay. I know, but they will be okay. They
It
will
will
be
be
okay.
okay. It'll be okay. Yeah, they'll be okay.
And are you in the same town as they are? Are you even in the same state as they are? Because if you're not,
Yeah.
you're still a plane ride away. Like I was a 3-hour flight from LA. Now, obviously a lot farther now, but it's not like I was right there, right?
Yeah. So
Right.
what is it? From LA to New York, is it a 5-hour flight?
Something 5 or 6
Yeah.
hours.
And it's a 5-hour flight, 5 to 6 hours from New York to Lisbon.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so I think we can't live our lives on what if. We can't live our life imagining a future that doesn't really exist. And being fearful of that because you're making up all of these what if things, what if, and then you stay stuck. So I would, we always plan for the worst, hope for the best. So when we tell people about getting their money together, we walk them through what are all of the expected events that you may have to travel back.
Right.
And make sure that is in your budget and that you have, put money aside so that doesn't so money is not the issue of you getting back. You can expect some funerals. Are you going to go? You can expect some graduations. You can expect an emergency or two. We had to fly back in January unexpectedly, right? Life happens. I was saving my points just for that kind of thing. And we flew 100% on points. And then we flew our youngest son, out to help with the move of my mom, and flew him out from Colorado to LA on point. So, plan for these things,
Yeah.
and plan for family Zoom calls.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
can do it on WhatsApp for free. You can do not Zoom rooms, but rooms on Facebook for free. There are a lot. Technology has made it a lot easier to really stay in touch in a
Absolutely.
meaningful way.
Right. I
Absolutely.
mean, like you said, we built stuff into the budget too if we had to do it. Some of my brother just passed away, my older brother, and it was my decision not to go back to California. You know, uh, I'm just not the funeral type going person, and I like to keep memories of people of how they were. You know, when they were alive and well and stuff like that. And I talked to my sister about it, and she agreed. She said, "No, you don't need to come back. You don't need to come."
Mm-hmm.
I don't do all that southern viewing of the
Yeah,
body
I
and all that
don't like all
stuff.
that.
I like,
Oh
no.
I
yeah.
don't like all that.
Yeah. That's not my ministry. That's not my
Yeah.
ministry. Ooh, you guys are speaking to me today. Got the finances, but had the fear. Okay, I'm trying to convince my partner to come with me. Is he watching, Paula? Is he watching? Have him watch. Y'all book a call with us. We'll turn Rick loose on him. Rick has convinced many a man.
Well,
There's not much to convince. They just need to
it
hear
you
from another Black man, right?
right, and there's plenty of us here. There's a lot of black men here.
And even if
Yes.
Portugal's not
Yes.
the place for you, because Portugal's
It
not for
might not
everyone,
be.
but just to move abroad, period, right? Because everyone we talk to is not moving here.
No.
No.
Just knowing that, you can be safer as a Black man outside
Yes.
of the United
Yes.
States, right? That you're navigating the language, the culture, and all of that stuff. And our men don't like to look stupid. They don't. They
No.
don't, right? And so part of that is ego. And
Yeah.
well, what if they say this? What do I say? You say what I say, huh?
Yeah.
Huh? No entiendo. No comprendo. Did you visit both before making the decision? Ooh, good question, Anne. And Anne Harris.
I did not visit Panama because of COVID. I had a trip planned and it was canceled because of COVID in 2021. So I took that 2021 money and came to Portugal.
Instead.
So I never made it to Panama.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah. I mean, I think
Yeah.
the scorpions in the bed was a deal breaker for you.
It
And
was. The scorpions were the deal breaker.
and some people they don't care about that stuff. And if you're like insects, I'm not going to cross something off for insects. Don't, just because it's a cross off for us, don't let it be a cross off for you if that
Yeah.
doesn't bring you fear or
Exactly.
whatever,
Exactly.
or make you
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah. Because they have another insect that has like 6 or 8, 10, 12 legs. I wasn't into that either. I was
What, a centipede?
yes, that one. That one.
We have centipedes. We have centipedes in California.
Yeah, but they still got a lot of insects and stuff like that down there that you ain't never ever seen land.
Yeah, I know, because it takes a certain amount of humidity and heat and stuff, and maybe
So I can
it's
understand
relationship to the water, and who knows.
I mean, spiders don't bother me, but to see a spider from Australia,
As big as your hand,
that would probably bother me a whole lot.
That would bother me. Yeah, that would bother me. Yes.
Now that I've returned to the US from Portugal, every time I purchase something that I now know would cost a fraction in Portugal, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting more annoyed with the USA by the day and by the purchase.
Yeah.
Even though the avian flu thing is over, eggs were still kind of expensive. They were still almost double the price that they are here. And they're not even as fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Like the shells are all
Yeah.
thin. The yolks are not as like they're almost orange here. They're so yellow.
Yeah. Yes. Things are less expensive. I had to give my one experience. The first time I went to the doctor, the they asked you want to pay then or when you leave. I said, well, I want to go ahead and pay now. And I said, how much is it? And he said 18 euros. I thought he said 80. I was okay, 80. He said, no, 18. I'm like, 1-8. I said, let me pay him and get out of here before he realized he made
Before
a
he changed his
mistake. But it
mind.
was actually $18.
Yeah.
18-year-old,
$18.
y'all,
18 euros to go to the doctor.
which you add 10%. So add $1.80 to that. So about so under $20.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the doctor did not write a prescription. Every time you go to a doctor in America, they want to write your prescription. She just told me some things to do, and well, she did write what you could something you could buy over the counter, because
Right.
pharmacies are different here than in America.
Right.
You know, you can't even get Tylenol in the grocery store. You have to go to a pharmacist. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's less than my copay in America. My copay in America is $60. $60.
Yeah.
With government health care?
It has $60 copay.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
What has been your biggest adjustment living in Portugal?
I would say the mindset that I'm retired, because when I first got here, I still had that work, run, to just slow down, slow down. So for me and for somebody else, it could be something different. Just slow down. I was always, walking fast and pulling the elevator before it's ready to open, just slowing down. That I'm retired. The Uber pulls up and I'm grabbing the door before he's completely stopped. Because that America run. And so that's just slowing down, and it's okay, and that's helped me deal with the bureaucracy here in Portugal, because they do things a little different. It's not bad or good. It's just different. It's not bad or good. It is
Which
what
means
it is.
you have to learn a new system. You have to be a toddler again. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
We have bureaucracy in the United States.
In America. But we understand it.
You understand it.
So we don't look at it the same way, because we know what the steps are going to be.
Right. Exactly.
The USPS put me through hell just to get the address changed.
Address.
Get my mom's address changed.
Wow.
They wanted me to show up in person. I said, she has dementia and I'm in Portugal. How's this going to work?
Right.
I said, I can fax you the deed showing that I own it. If I say chick don't live there, she don't live there.
Right.
It's my house.
Right.
No, that's not good enough. I can send, my passport, a copy of my passport with the newspaper to show you the date. I'm taking this picture today. Like, how in 2024 do I have to show up in person? How do you not have the ability for me to fax you a notarized, set of documents?
Especially in America. Especially in America, yeah. Yeah.
So, for all the folks who think that, America's so efficient and this is so antiquated, that is not necessarily the case.
It's not necessarily true, no.
With every single system in the United States.
No.
I think we have one of the best postal services in the world from what I've seen, but that was some nonsense. And I know it's because there's bad actors out there. So there's bad actors out there. So I've got to fly back to California because there's bad guys out there doing stupid stuff and cheating.
Right.
I was fit to be tied. The caretaker had to take my mom to the post office to get that stuff changed. Just ridiculous.
Yes.
How cold does Portugal get in the wintertime? Does it snow a lot?
No, it doesn't snow. I don't think so.
It snows occasionally. They do have a ski mountain.
Right. It doesn't snow in
north.
Lisbon. Yeah, it doesn't snow. It doesn't snow in Lisbon, but you're right. It's somewhere up north.
but otherwise,
What our Uber driver yesterday said that,
it snowed twice
yeah,
in Lisbon. Once in
Oh,
his, oh, look at that.
wow.
Yeah, so once when he was a kid,
yeah.
and once when his mother was a kid. And he
Okay.
was like, it was so beautiful.
I bet it
Winter,
was.
and yeah, he said until the next day. And then it was all muddy.
Oh, yes. I
Because
can
I
see
mean,
that.
joyful one, the weather here in Portugal by and large mimics California. So
Yes.
I'd say from northern California to southern California, from northern Portugal to southern
Right.
Portugal, um, it mimics it. So
Yeah.
here I'd say is kind of Santa Barbara ish in that
Yeah.
the other day it was 63, 64.
Hmm.
And I put on a jacket and I had a scarf just in case it got windy.
Right.
By the time I walked across the street, I was like, "Ugh."
Pulling stuff off.
Putting it in my backpack.
Right.
Even at 64, 65 degrees, it was hot. Now, sitting
Mhm.
in the shade when it's windy, when it's 65, could get chilly.
It get
But
chilly. It can get chilly.
in the
Yeah.
sunshine,
Yeah. Yeah. But
it,
cold is, I get asked that all the time. It's relative. I mean, it's just what's cold to me being
compared to
from
Right.
what?
Texas. Yeah. What are you comparing it to? I like it a little cool, not cool, cool, but I do like where it's not just hot. I do like it. I don't want to say it.
I
I don't want to give it a temperature because that varies. But I don't like it cold. But I'm like, it depends on where
I'd
you're
rather
from and what
be
you used to.
I'd rather be a little chilly and put a jacket on than be hot and just
Yes,
that,
absolutely.
that's me. And
Absolutely.
so
Yeah,
joyful
absolutely.
one on average in the winter time is going to be somewhere in between 48 and 62 degrees.
Mhm.
That's about right.
48 is rare.
Hmm.
Usually it's going to be somewhere between 52 and 58 in the
Right,
heart of the winter time.
right,
With spikes here and there, of course.
Right.
right, right,
And then the summertime it gets hot. But
right.
it's not like Death Valley hot. I
No.
think on average
No,
it's like 88
no,
degrees.
right, right.
So that is the weather here. Did Marguerite decide on Lisbon proper or the suburbs? Oh, good question.
Well, I was originally I never was in the heart of Lisbon. I was in an area called Belém, which is it's Lisbon, but it used to be the suburbs. And I have to say, my first apartment, it had good bones. My first apartment was nice. It just stuff didn't work inside. And nobody would know that unless you lived there. You'd have to live there. The place I'm in now is inside is very nice. I love it inside. And I'm on what we call the train line. And it would be considered, it's Lisbon would be considered the suburbs.
Mhm.
I like the apartment, but I do miss not being closer to the center of the city. I do miss that.
What area are
But I
you in
like it
now?
here.
Yeah.
I'm in the Oedish area, and the train line is Parco
Oh,
de
I didn't.
Argos.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Oh, so you get off at Paso. Is
De
it Paso?
Argos.
Is there a thing underneath there? I can't remember if it's Paso
Yeah,
de Arcos or
yeah,
Dos Arcos,
Yeah.
something like that.
yes.
Paso
So
de Arcos.
yeah, so that's
It's
three
th-
three
it's three train
major
lines.
stops.
Yeah, three train lines for Belém from the Belém train
Yeah,
stop. So
Right.
I'm not too,
exactly.
yeah. But what sold me is that I had a water view. I saw the water view, and I was like, okay,
That's
how
it.
much you want?
That's
How
it.
much you want? How many?
Yeah.
What you want? What you want?
Yeah. So, but Jazzy, suburbs are not as far here because the city's not as
It's not
big.
like
And the public
it's not this
transportation
big.
makes it really easy. I wouldn't live outside of the city center and not have a direct line here. Like I don't want to get on planes, trains, and automobiles to get into the city center, right?
Right.
But one train line and you're there, a few stops, 15, 20 minutes, you're there. Your Metro
Yeah.
card gets
Get
you
you there. Yeah.
gets you
Right.
there,
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
around. So Yeah.
And it's funny where I'm at, not funny, but where I'm at now, I have a straighter shot to the center of Lisbon because I just get on the train and I'm right to
Right.
Castro de Sodre, and then the metro is downstairs. Whereas in Belém, I had to take 2 or 3 buses. They're not the buses are
Yeah.
good, but that time is kind
Oh,
of
so you,
subjective time.
yeah, yeah.
So
So you weren't close to the Belém train stop.
no, I was not. I was actually the Restella era. I
Okay.
was still Berlin, but not at down at the bottom. So it would take me an hour to get anywhere on the bus. Again, the bus time is kind of, suggestive. It may say 8:01, but it may get there like 8:18.
Really? We don't, I haven't found those kind of disparities except for on holidays.
Well, because Belém is that unique area. A lot of people in that area had cars. That area,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
more of a well-off area. Now, if you down at Castro de Sodre, buses gonna be on time because of the demand. Because where I used to live, there'd be oftentimes I'd be the only one at the bus stop because the demand
Oh,
wasn't there.
interesting. Okay.
Well, me, maybe one other person.
Right.
So, and then I didn't live far from, I'm not sure if the president or the prime minister.
Yeah.
And if he was coming down the street, the bus had to
Every
stop.
right. Everything should, well, just like in America.
Because you're down there by is it the palace that's down there?
The palace is down there, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
wasn't close, but somehow or another his route would go sometime by that particular apartment that I lived in. It was a
Mhm.
high rise. And so what I've learned is that the procession goes, but the bus still doesn't leave because there's always an ambulance like 5 minutes later. So you're standing there the
Oh,
whole time.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So where I'm at now is a straighter shot,
I know
even
one
though I'm
thing.
always heading out.
I know more Americans who have taken selfies with the Portuguese president than I know of people who've taken
Oh,
selfies with the
the
American
American
president.
president. Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that she stresses scouting trips. Videos don't get to the feel of a place. No, they don't, Peggy.
Absolutely. You need to be on the ground. You need to be
Right.
here.
I truly think so, especially for Portugal. Like Mexico, maybe not. Because
Yeah,
it's
maybe
right
not.
there and there's
Yes,
no
down the street.
requirement. The requirement to get residency in Mexico is so less tedious, and
Right.
you don't have to stay in country for a certain amount of time. So you get your residency. If you find you don't like it, leave, right? But
Right.
Portugal, like this is you have to put a lot of stuff in place.
Right.
Right.
You got to have insurance. You've got to have that 1 year lease. You've got to have a bank account. You've got to have a tax ID. You got to have a certain amount of money in your bank account. Well, most places, the money part, but all of that other stuff is not necessarily typical.
Right. Well, I
I,
think also you got to see, can you handle the plane ride? I think you needed to fly over here, and the plane ride may not be for everybody, depending on your health. You need to get on the plane, and
yeah,
so you have
because
to come. You have to
even if
come.
you're only going back and forth every other year, you're going to have to go back.
Hmm.
You have to go back. Yeah,
You're
yeah,
going to
because
have
you
to go
have
back for
funerals
something.
to something.
It,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So, and to me, if you can't handle the plane ride, you might not be able to handle the hills. I don't know.
Or you're not gonna be able to handle the hills.
That's just out. Whoops, I didn't mean to
That's
share that
out. That's
again.
out.
Karen Louise, thanks for sharing your journey, Marguerite. Cultural adjustment takes time. Does your community with expats only, is your community only with expats, or do you also have friends who are born and raised in Portugal? And if not, why?
Yes, I have met a few friends that are Portuguese. I don't know if they've all been born and raised because there's movement. Some people born in France and they Portuguese. They live here now. So there is a little movement around. But yes, I have. They are they are some of the nicest people, I have to say. And some of them want to know. They want to know you because you're the American girl in the building.
Right.
You're the American girl in the building, and so I met a few. Yes, yes. I have, and some have been. One has invited me over to his house. Him and his girlfriend had to get together, and uh, one lady, she was just walking down the street, and we've kept in contact. And she's like, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going for coffee." Now, keep in mind, she didn't speak Portuguese. I'm sorry, she didn't speak English, and I didn't speak Portuguese, but we communicated. So we walked down and got coffee at McDonald's, and we stayed in touch because we can translate on WhatsApp.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
And that's the other thing, Karen Louise, like in our neighborhood, even our landlords, we can kind of have conversations now because I know a little bit, but no one else in our building speaks English.
Yeah,
So it's hard to develop a
communicate.
relationship with people who don't speak English. But
Right.
um, there are Portuguese folks who have spent time either in the UK or the United States in the friend group.
Right.
And so they speak enough English. Well, they speak perfect English as far as I'm concerned, perfect enough. Like if I spoke Portuguese or any language, any other language as well as they speak English, I'd be puffed up right now.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to build relationships with them. Like the guy who always comes to wine tasting and Rory's stuff.
Brother Andre.
Yes, yes, and I love having conversations because I like to get Portuguese take
Yeah.
on what's going on, whether it's political or just things that I've read that are cultural or whatever.
Mhm.
So yeah, but it takes time. It does take
It takes
It
time.
time.
does.
It does take time because you don't develop it overnight. It takes time. You
Yeah.
have to develop it. It just doesn't come automatically.
No,
No.
no.
Mm-mm.
But I do like the fact that our neighbors know us and they say hello, and not just the neighbors in the building, but I'm talking about the neighbors in the neighborhood. We've been here now
Oh, that's
long
good.
enough.
That's good.
Yeah. And see, this is a neighborhood of small apartment buildings. We don't have a lot of high rises. There's one on the whole street or two maybe.
The one that you're
That one and that one.
Okay.
But the majority of them are the smaller traditional 8 to 10 apartments in the building. But even in the neighborhood, the vendors and this and that and the other,
Go to the store and
yeah, they recognize us. The lady who likes to bop the man on the head. So
yeah.
she's a
trip.
joker.
She's a trip.
She's a joker. Okay, we just showed that one. All right. So Celeste is asking, hello, Marguerite. Did you consider the cooler cities in Panama?
Well, I never got a chance to go to Panama because they canceled my trip. And I had thought about Boquete in Panama. It's cooler, it's in the mountains, but I always felt that it was too small. I think they have a population of about 30,000. And I want a place that small. But Boquete, they say it's beautiful. But I never got a chance to go to Panama because of COVID.
So you brought up a good point. You said it's too small. Going somewhere on vacation and seeing all the pretty and doing the this and that and all the excursions and this is one thing. But really think about what you want your
What your
everyday
everyday
life
life
to
is
look
gonna be.
like. It
Life
ain't going
to
to be
be
zip lining every day
Right.
and, food
like.
tours every day and all of that stuff. And
You want to
these,
make sure they have amenities close by, especially if you're not driving or anything like that.
right. Where's the nearest hospital? And how good is it? How big is it? Right? Like there's certain things that you want to make sure you have easy access to, not planes, trains, and automobiles. Do they even have Ubers? Like some towns are so small, they don't even have Uber or Bolt or Lyft or, Didi, whatever the local one is. I'm a city girl and I need access to all the stuff that cities offer, be it concerts, lots of movie theaters, museums, the festivals, festivals going on here and there and everywhere, and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, a village of 30,000, there's no way. There's no way. Not for me anyway. I'm in the process of deciding between where I want to move, and I've narrowed it down to Panama or Portugal. Okay. I am moving from Denver.
Hello, fellow Denverite.
Hello, Denverite, after I retire next year. How's the cost of living expenses? Okay. So in our Ready to Retire toolkit are links to the databases that give cost of living for every major and minor city on the globe. And so in the Ready to Retire toolkit, you can find below under free resources, OBU resources. It's in the top part. You'll find it very easily. Go ahead and get it. It's free. Panama City sounds like it's about the same cost of living as living in Lisbon. Especially, you might be able to find cheaper housing, but will it be housing that you would want to live in? So that's the question. I have not done research in a minute on Panama City. And I only mention Panama City because that's usually where we end up, Panama City and the surrounds. But yeah. Who's calling me? I can't believe you calling me Marguerite? Hi, Marguerite.
Hey, is it anything I need to do? You all are frozen.
Oh, really? We hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can
You
hear
all
you.
are frozen on the screen. Do
Oh,
I need
really?
to go out and come back in?
Maybe. Try that.
Okay,
You
let me
guys,
go
are
out
we
and I'll come
frozen?
back in, okay?
Okay.
Are we frozen on you, guys? Let's see. We are seeing you both. Okay.
So we're frozen on
You
this.
all have
So
been
I think it's
frozen
just
about.
I think it's just your screen.
Okay, now I'm gonna go out and come back in, okay?
Okay.
Very
Okay.
good.
Okay.
All right. So we were talking about. I'm going to mute you. We were talking about cost of living, and so it's the Earth Awaits is one, and MB2. I would put in the criteria, all of the criteria that you want, and then you can see what the cost of living. I don't know why we've been having internet issues lately. You can see what the cost of living is for both Panama and Portugal, and for different cities in Panama and Portugal. The other thing is that they will break it down between housing as well as all of the extras. So these cost of living figures include clothing, entertainment, groceries, transportation, etc. I don't think they include healthcare. So I don't know what insurance is like in Panama. I would venture to say it's probably much less expensive. Healthcare around the world tends to be less expensive than the United States. Here we pay 2,000 euro per year for our private health insurance, but we are of a certain age with a pre-existing, right? And so that's what we pay. We know people who are paying $2,000 a month for insurance in the United States. So yes, the Ready to Retire toolkit is in the description below. It is also in the Move Abroad toolkit, those links to those databases. Okay. I'm going to see if there are any general questions about Portugal. And we'll see if she did. Okay, let's see what this one says. Does Rossini keep a database of his placements? Is there a way that new people can just move into the apartment of people who are leaving and complete the lease? Okay, that's a good idea.
Fantastic idea.
No, he does not. No, he does not. I'm going to take a picture of this because I don't want to forget it. That is actually a good idea, and I will give him that idea. But right now he doesn't. On Black in Portugal and POCs in Portugal, and maybe I've seen it in Americans and Friends in Portugal. I do see people saying, asking for if anybody is interested in just that. Okay, so we do see it, and usually they're going to put out an announcement on the Facebook page and say, I'm moving out of this place. If anybody's interested, this is
Yeah,
what's going on.
I did see some postings like that on Black in Portugal.
Yep, I've seen them too. The other thing is, if it didn't work out for us, but I know it's possible. I know it's worked out for other people, and that is renting an Airbnb off the platform. So we came here. For those of you who've been around, we had stayed in an Airbnb on the other side of the river, and she really wanted us to rent it, but she couldn't get the paperwork together fast enough because she didn't know English, but her daughter was busy and blah, 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 whoop-de-whoop. It didn't work out. But, once you stayed in a place and you talk to the host, that's why we make an effort to only rent Airbnbs from locals or from individual people, not corporations. We try to make that effort. So when you do that, then you've got a relationship with that person. It is quite possible that you can say, can you give me a lease that starts in January? Or can you give me a lease that starts in December? Because they're doing short-term rental up until then. And that's a way that you won't necessarily have to pay in advance.
Right.
How's it going, Marguerite?
It's going better.
Okay.
It's better. I moved, so it's better.
Are you closer to the Wi-Fi thing?
Yes, I'm closer. I was close, but I'm closer now, so it should be better.
Okay. Well, we're back in the back of the apartment with these cinder block walls. We have to plug in. We have to. Otherwise, we don't get anything.
Yeah.
All right. So Greta's asking, as a single person, would you mind sharing your monthly budget?
I'm living my best life.
No is a complete sentence.
Yes, no. So I'd rather not. I'm living my best life. So I stay under my pension, what I get monthly pension, and I usually have some left over. I haven't touched my investments, so I have a budget.
And Greta, Marguerite is very fortunate in that she worked for the government.
I work for the government.
And the best pension is a government pension. I see what comes into my father's account, or my account, from on behalf of my father, and he didn't even work the whole full time, like 30 years or whatever. He only worked for the city and county or the school district maybe 20 years. And then every quarter they get like this bonus based upon, I don't know what, because I haven't gone onto the website to see why, but I just know. And so, if I can only imagine for someone who did that for their whole career, how much better that pension. If he didn't have that pension, he'd be in sad shape right now.
Right. Yeah.
He'd be in sad shape right now.
Well,
but Greta,
yeah.
I do know people who are living here on their own. I know someone who had rent of 630.
Right.
Right. And so then, to me, it's hard for a single person to spend $1,000 more on groceries and all of that stuff. I mean, you can, if you're going out to eat every day and stuff like that, you can spend it.
Oh yeah.
You can spend it, but you have to make it, like, you have to be out there in them streets, to be able to spend another 1,000 as a single person on entertainment, because even our utilities, for the internet and cable is €36. The internet and cable is €36. So all in, not including our cell phone, we're never spending more than €150. All the utilities.
Yeah.
and then we add our cell phone on top of that, and it's still not over 200
Right.
for all
Yeah.
for cell phone
Yeah.
plus utilities.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not cheap, but
Yeah.
because the housing is not cheap
Yes.
and expensive.
Right.
But the food, and even though I've seen some inflation, I've seen the prices go up. It's there. When I went back to the States, I had my feelings hurt.
Yeah.
I had my
Yeah.
feelings hurt.
Yeah.
And you can get the prato do dia, the plate of the day, at a restaurant for €9 or less all day long in the neighborhoods, not during the tourist areas, in the
Right.
neighborhood. And that's
Right.
that's the meal, a drink, and then sometimes dessert as well.
Right. Yeah.
That you can't even go to McDonald's for that,
Oh no. Yeah. And,
right?
and I have people that ask me that all the time, but it's sort of, I don't know how to say it. It's the life you want to live. You can come here and live $1,500 a month, or you can come and live your best life.
Yeah, yeah,
And sometimes I don't feel like taking public transportation. I take a Uber. I take a boat. You
yep,
know, it's what you want to do. So I'm
yeah.
living my best life. So yes, I have a budget, but
And if you don't have a big pension, get a side hustle together that will make money while you're sleeping so that you can
right,
have the extras,
right, right,
right? We just did the side hustle challenge. People came out of there transformed with ideas that they never thought of, a way to get this stuff done. And so if the budget is tight, get a little side hustle. Everybody watching has knowledge that somebody else wants,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly,
right?
exactly,
And so get in a position to share it and sell it, you
right,
know.
right.
All right. And we're going to wrap this up here. Pinky, if the owner is paying the agent to find a tenant, why is the potential tenant paying the agent? No. Am I misunderstanding something? So, yeah, we don't pay the agent, but what I'm saying
No,
is their commission is based, my understanding is their commission is based upon the rental, like how much rent you're going to be paying. So, what the size of the contract is. So, if the rent is a thousand a month. Oh, and there are some real estate agents that charge for their services,
hmm,
and they'll charge the equivalent of a month's rent in
correct,
general. In
correct.
general. And then they get commission on top of that.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
It sounds kind of dirty to us, but that's just because it works differently in the United States.
Right,
There are
Mm.
rules, and they have to follow the rules. You
right,
might not like the rules, but there's workarounds. And my workaround was, initially, and actually Rossini gave us this strategy, was to go straight to the owners and start there.
Yes, right.
So we did see some through an agent, but the majority of the ones that we looked at, we were talking directly to the owners, and that saves time. And we were able to negotiate some things just right off the bat, and it was just made it a lot easier, as opposed to, like this one agent said, he wanted 1 year rent in advance. First of all, that's against the law,
exactly. Yes,
and they think
yes.
we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So when I said, wait a minute, let me get this straight, because Rick noticed
All the lights.
they didn't have any light fixtures. It was just some wires hanging down. All the light was coming from the
It was an
sun.
ambient light. It was, yeah,
It was
coming from the windows. I was like, well, I don't see any room lights. I don't see any indoor lights. I see the sun coming through the windows. Where are the lights in the room? And they showed up at the ceiling, and
right. Rossini put the video camera up there, and
there
there's
was wires
wires
because
hanging out.
they took the light fixtures out.
So you have to be careful, and that's why it helps to get people who know. An equipped kitchens are not necessarily equipped. They don't necessarily come with a stove, an oven. They'll have a
Right.
hole. in the counter where the stove
Yes.
goes, right? In California, that happens a lot. No stove, no refrigerator. You bring your own refrigerator. And Denver, no. People
Right.
sell houses with the refrigerator. But if it's a built-in stove, of course you're leaving the stove. If it's a built-in oven,
Right.
of
It's
course
a
you're leaving the
fixture.
oven. But yeah, they'll have a hole. So
Mm-hmm.
there was no stove, there was no oven, there was no dishwasher, there were no light fixtures, and you're asking me to pay a year in advance for a fake
Mm-hmm.
2-bedroom because the other bedroom didn't even have a window. So they got to walk through our room to get to that room. Like, what are we doing here? And I said, how can you ask for a year? And this is not even, it's not habitable. And I
Right.
said, why is the owner asking for a year? Oh, the owner's not asking for a year. I'm asking for a year. That's when I was like, okay, let's avoid these agents. This is for
Yes,
you.
I have retired from my U.S. job. I'm completely retired, and I do not work. I'm allergic to working.
She's working on having fun. That's what she's doing. She's working
Yes.
on having fun. All right. I am a part of the I'll cuss you out ministry with some of my friends and family. People will project their fears and insecurities
Sure
onto
will.
you.
Right.
Right? With that
Right.
nonsense, I rebuke that. You're going to be broke in 5 years. I rebuke that. I
Mm-hmm.
rebuke that. Like, just because you scared, don't put that stuff on me. Stop cursing me. I rebuke it. In the name of
Exactly.
Jesus.
Exactly.
Get thee behind me. Get thee behind me. You ain't tripping. Okay. The same with my corporate job in Chicago in the 80s, no pants.
Wow.
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 It took me back to my mother. Did not dress me. My mama did not dress me and my sisters in pants until we were older. Wow.
Wow.
Huh. I didn't
Wow.
know they were still doing that nonsense in the 80s. Not in Cali,
I
not in
didn't
LA.
either.
Not in LA. My portfolio is up since I started watching this channel in our rich journey. All
See,
Oh
right.
yes. Good. Good.
that's very good.
Yes.
Good.
Let it ride. Let it ride. Black folks tend to, when the market goes down, to sell. And then when it comes
Yes.
back up, to buy. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do
Right.
that.
You don't lose anything until you sell.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I don't do Joe, as in coffee. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Diane, baby. Okay, where were we? Thank God I'm debt free and been for a good while. Congratulations,
Congratulations.
Dee. A
Yes.
wonderful feeling,
Yes.
but now working on investing. Any suggestions where to start? Yes, take Beyond the Bling Money Mindset Makeover for Financial Independence. We have a whole module on investing, and we have an investment study group that meets once a month. But you can start by opening up an account at Fidelity or Schwab. And the reason why I'm suggesting those two is because they have a banking arm that will help if you are going to move abroad. And you can start with $5.
I agree
And
because I have both. I agree.
$5.
Yes. Absolutely agree.
And we suggest that you investigate index funds, like a
Yes.
total stock
Yes.
market index fund
Yes.
or a
S&P. Yes.
S&P 500 index fund. You want to get something that has a very, 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 very low expense ratio.
Yes.
So it should be under 1%, and maybe even just half of 1% or a third of 1%.
Yes.
Is about the average. So that's what you want to look for. And I would set it on automatic, D. Don't even think about it. If you're still working, then you want to start with your pre-tax accounts. And hopefully on your job, they are offering some kind of index fund within their 401k, 403b, or whatever you've got. And once you at least, I would try, and if I didn't have anything saved, then I would be trying to max out my 401k. If you are close to retirement, you might want to do a brokerage account as well if you think you're going to need access to that money, because it's after tax money, right? So first 401k or pre-tax money, and then an IRA after tax, which can grow tax-free, and then a brokerage account. And that's the order that I would do it in general. So glad you're debt-free. I like how everyone always knows your financial business and can't manage their own. Broken 5 years, laugh. LOL. Right? I mean, just projecting that, just vomiting all over you.
All in my pocket.
Right? Does your mama have a passport?
Yes.
Does she travel?
Yes. Well, she's 89. My dad used to travel extensively.
That's right, you said that.
Yeah, but she's in about 12 years ago, she and I went to London and Paris. She went somewhere else, but no, she's maintained a passport. She has.
Okay.
She doesn't like to travel. Yeah, she doesn't like to travel, but she does plan to come here September.
Okay.
Yay! Hopefully we'll get to meet her. Okay, so we answered that question. Belim and Oraish.
Yes.
And then the last one, what's the language barrier like? Portuguese is on my list. One bad thing / good thing about Lisbon is that there's a lot of English speakers.
Yes.
Why is that a bad thing? Because sometimes it makes it hard to practice.
Right.
It's a good thing because it's a softer landing.
Right.
But how are you finding Portuguese? Are you doing any of the apps or anything right now?
Well, tomorrow I will start
a
class tomorrow. It's 2 days a week, and I'm doing that because I want to be more prepared for the government class that I start in September. So I'm starting the government class in September.
Okay.
I'm a brick and mortar type person. I've tried to online, and I think I'm one of those type individuals. I need accountability. I need to go to the classroom, because if I do it online, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna do it tomorrow, and I have not been I'm out here in the streets too much to stay on track. I just be honest.
So what we do is we take private lessons through a platform called Preply. And it, and we have it scheduled every week. Like I just have it on auto. So it, we have it scheduled a certain time, and it's a Zoom call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're talking just like we're talking to you, to a native speaker. And that has been really helpful. And I wanted to do that before we did the government class as well.
Yeah.
So
that's why I'm taking a class starting tomorrow to kind of, because Portuguese, what I have found, I can learn it, but it's hearing them say it. And I've learned that they would drop syllables and eat syllables. So it's almost like you have to learn it 2 different ways. So that's challenging for me. But I can tell you, I tell everybody, I have been able to maneuver through the city, and
look, that's what technology is for. That, sometimes I have to go here with our housekeeper, right? That's what technology is for.
Right.
So really tell us. Go ahead. Your housekeeper. What were you going to say?
She doesn't speak English, and we communicate.
Yeah, mine doesn't either. Right. So we saw that something's going on at Marquês de Pombal. What are they setting up for? I couldn't tell, and they had so we were trying to get on the metro station, and they had the majority of the entrances locked
Oh, today you
Mm.
guys were doing
today.
that? Yeah,
Yeah.
you said they were locked. I was like, why would they be locked?
Yeah, I don't know. And so we had to basically walk to the one that's closest to Eduardo Park, and we could go down right there. All right, last two questions. Is there a downside to opening a bank account even if you haven't started the moving process? No.
No.
And
No.
we know people who opened a bank account in 2018 with a plan to move here in 2025. And
Wow.
yeah, and they just keep adding money to the bank. Like I think they wait until the exchange rate is
Exchange
at its
rate.
best, and then they move a chunk.
Yeah.
They
Not a
also
bad
come
idea.
here about twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're from Texas via South America. You remember that couple that did ORJ? That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, we opened up our bank account, Jazzy, on our scouting trip,
Mm-hmm.
and because it took us a week to say, yeah, we can do this. Let's do this.
Right.
Even though we were here for a month, I think we pretty much had decided,
Miracle Mine's pretty yeah, pretty
right?
fast.
Yeah, especially when I got mistaken for Portuguese.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I look Portuguese? The
Yeah.
guy said yes. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. I blend in. That means I'm not
Yes.
going to be treated like a tourist. I'm not going to be a walking
Exactly.
wallet. I hate that.
Exactly.
Panama City is on the low and high end. It's a cosmopolitan city. Oh, yeah, definitely. Know that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Know that. It's that small village thing that she was talking about that I was like, nah, of 30,000 people, I was like, nah, that ain't
Mm-hmm.
my cup of tea. From an amenity standpoint and infrastructure standpoint, I definitely think we could do Panama City. I just
Mm-hmm.
can't do that heat.
It's the heat. The
I can't
heat.
do that heat. And Charlotte has built up an amazing community there. I'm sure there's
Yes.
other folks who
Yes.
built, amazing communities. A football
Football
championship
championship
tonight.
tonight.
People will go there to celebrate.
Wow.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I was wondering because it looked like they were setting up a stage and everything else. Championship ends this month. Are we
Okay.
in it? Are we in it? Where is the major Brazilian community located in Lisbon? Sharon, or where? Are you at least 50 years of age? We're all over 50, baby.
Yes.
We
Yes.
are all over 50. But thank you
Mm-hmm.
for asking. Thank you for asking, right? I'm like, did I just get carded? Did I just get carded? So yeah, Brazilians are everywhere, Sharon.
Everywhere.
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 Brazilian restaurants are everywhere.
Everywhere. Mm-hmm.
Paying $73 a month just in subscriptions. Um,
Ooh. Ooh.
Hulu, Netflix, that stuff adds up. Even if you cancel cable, and then you get all these little mini subscriptions saying, "Oh, but it's only $5.99. It's only $8.99," and next thing you know, you almost paying what you were paying before.
Right.
So,
Right.
all right. Safety. We did not talk about that.
Do you feel
Oh,
safe?
very safe. Very safe. I cannot tell you how many times I've arrived at my apartment and it's late, and I feel very safe.
And
Very
and
safe.
have you? We'll talk. There's two parts of safety. So, have you ever felt like you were the suspect?
No. 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 Mm-mm. It took about 3 weeks for a lot of that to fall off and to realize you in a safer environment. Now, I do want to say that to the ladies, don't walk around like nothing's can ever happen to you. You want to use your common sense, because
Mhm.
crime is extremely low here, but that doesn't mean there's no crime. Don't
Exactly.
set your cell phone on the, ledge of an apartment window or some strange place. Don't leave it on the bus. Just be careful about your personal belonging, the things you have. But it is safe. It's very, their ATM machine around the corner from me, I've gone to it twice, and the ATM card is sitting on top, meaning somebody forgot to take their card out, and people just sit it on top. Who does
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Who does
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but and I'm not saying there's no theft here. That I don't
There
want to.
is. There is.
There is
There's crimes of
pick,
opportunity, pickpockets
crimes of
and things like that.
opportunity. Yes,
But you won't get
yes.
dead.
You won't be shot. You won't be shot by a stray bullet. One of the first things I noticed when I moved here, there were no gun stores.
As a Texan,
As a Texan,
Mm-hmm.
no payday loan stores, no quote liquor stores,
Right.
no payday loan
no
stores.
payday loan
No.
stores. I noticed that within a couple of days. Well, I noticed there were no gun stores, and I didn't know what that thought never came to me. But I was like, it never came to me before I moved here. But once I got here, being a Texan, I'm like, there are no gun stores. There's no pawn shops. There are no payday loans. There are no liquor stores, which lead to a different mindset, a different way of a different attitude here.
Yeah. Now they sell liquor here, but it's kind of like California, where it's a convenience store that has liquor,
Right,
right? And
right.
that's
It's
how
not
it is
a
in
liquor
Cali.
store. It's not
But
a
in
Right.
liquor
Right,
store.
exactly. In Colorado, you were not allowed to sell a bunch of other stuff if you were a liquor store, you know, and vice
Right,
versa. Like the grocery stores could
right,
only sell like 3.5%,
Right.
beer back in the day.
right,
They've changed that in recent years, but it's just see that fake morality. That's what that
right.
is. That's that fake
Exactly,
morality. We're a dry
exactly.
state or semi-dry state. That's that fake morality, and it just the hypocrisy of it all is just
Right,
ridiculous, just ridiculous.
yeah.
But anyway, so what would you tell the single women out there who are considering it but are still feeling hesitant because they're not partnered up?
Oh, wow. Because they do not have a partner. Sometimes you can't wait on that that partner or non-partner. If it's what you want to do and to have your dream or what you feel is a better lifestyle for yourself, you have to step out on faith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Step out on
yeah,
faith and
Yeah.
follow your dreams. If this is what you want, follow your dreams. And your dream may not initially involve a mate. The mate may come.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, I was going to say if you have a mate, partner, whatever, the least, and they're dragging their feet or they're not sure, how will they know if they're going to like it if they've never been here before?
Exactly,
So
yes.
the least that they can do is take the opportunity to come see.
come
To
visit.
and that's anywhere that you go, anywhere that you
Right,
have, the ambition that you want to be, they should at least check it out
Yeah.
for
right.
themselves.
Contempt prior to investigation is never a good
Yeah,
look.
just to
Right,
say no,
right.
I ain't into that. And if they're
Yeah,
not into it, well, and you are, I don't want to make predictions, but
yeah.
I know what Rashida Dow was saying.
I know, hey,
See you
I
when I
know.
see you. See you when I see you.
Right. Right. All right, y'all. We love you. We are going to let Marguerite go. It is 10:30 at night here. I tried not to do 2 hours and we still ended up doing 2 hours. We're gonna go see if the football game is still on. But if you want help doing what Marguerite did, we offer one-on-one coaching calls to help you come up with a plan. All of that information is below, as well as some free resources, our Move Abroad Toolkit, and information for Beyond the Bling, our financial course to get you to to get you to financial independence. Again, if you want to come to the meetup on the 17th, there's still some space available for the Freedom Celebration. That information is below as well. And if Portugal is the place, we still have the resale of the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit. Marguerite, you were there. Was it worth the money? Uh-oh. Did we freeze on her again? I think we did.
Did we freeze?
I think we did. So the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit replays are available, and that's in the description below. Marguerite was there. She also helped us out. We heard from somebody else too. Everything that you need to know, you will find out at the summit, at the virtual summit. So buy the replays. You can watch them at your leisure over the month or until the end of the year. So with that, we'll let you go. We love y'all. See ya.
See ya.